October 2015, a cold afternoon in the United States. The director of the CIA, John Brennan, hears his phone ring. He pauses for a second and answers, expecting a private government call. A casual teenage voice speaks. "Hey bro, you were so easy to find. We basically own you." For Brennan, this is impossible. His number is protected. His lines are monitored. Only a handful of people have access. Yet here he is, being taunted like it's a prank. The caller refuses to say who he is, refuses to explain how he got the number, and finally demands something outrageous. Stop bombing the Middle East. Thousands of miles away, in a quiet housing estate in the UK, a 15-year-old kid sits on his bed, high, holding the phone, shaking from what he just did. Online, he calls himself Cracker. This teenager has no elite training, no expensive equipment, nothing except anger, boredom, and access to the internet. And somehow, he has just trespassed into the private life of one of the most powerful men in the world. Cracker isn't a prodigy. He's a bored kid who spends most of his time online, smoking weed, scrolling through politics, and getting angrier every day at what he sees happening in the Middle East. He convinces himself that if world leaders won't listen, maybe he can force them to. He forms a tiny group with other young hackers around the world. They call themselves Crackers with Attitude. Their goal is simple: expose powerful people and embarrass U.S. intelligence agencies. Meanwhile, in Virginia, another teen is drifting into the same world. He goes by Default. He's a regular American kid. Video games, hanging out with friends, trouble with his dad. His first taste of hacking comes from cheating in games. Eventually, curiosity takes over. He wants to understand how far he can push a computer. At first, he joins anonymous activist groups online, but they're filled with undercover agents, unreliable members, and constant drama. So he moves to a smaller, more serious crew called AnonSec. While poking around AnonSec's botnet, Default stumbles into something unexpected. A Canadian university server showing millions of dollars in unpaid student debt. There's a button on the screen labeled Delete All. He presses it. The data disappears instantly. This single moment gives him a feeling he's never experienced, that he could change things with a keyboard, that he could force the world to notice problems no one talks about. He joins activists trying to expose disturbing animal abuse rings in Denmark. Their attacks go viral. A global debate starts. Months later, Denmark bans bestiality. Default believes hacking is his way to do something good. In the moment he sees Cracker online, mocking US officials, he feels an instant connection. Cracker's first major hit wasn't Brennan. It was James Clapper, Director of National Intelligence. Clapper had a small piece of personal info online. Cracker used that tiny clue to call Clapper's phone provider, pretend to be a technician, claim he was on site, and trick them into giving full control of his account. Within hours, Cracker had his email, his home phone, and his private details. He forwards phone calls to a political activist hotline. Then he posts proof online. Default sees this and sends Cracker one message: respect. That single message begins one of the wildest hacking partnerships in modern history. Their next target is John Brennan. Cracker repeats the same method, calls Verizon, pretends to be staff, gives a random employee code, and somehow gets full access to Brennan's account. From there, he resets his old AOL password and enters a mailbox that should never have been reachable. Inside, he finds background checks, private forms, political documents, internal conversations, and sensitive information meant only for high-level intelligence. At Default's encouragement, Cracker contacts WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks publishes the documents. The CIA reacts immediately. Agents relocate families. Operations are paused. The agency spends over $1 million before realizing the threat wasn't a foreign government. It was teenagers. From this point, the hacks escalate. Using access to Brennan, Clapper, and other officials, the group jumps deeper into U.S. systems. Personal information of 20,000 FBI agents, details of 9,000 Department of Justice employees, internal booking databases, private law enforcement communications. They post everything online. They troll agencies on social media. They give interviews sounding half-baked, half-arrogant, fully fearless. At this stage, U.S. intelligence considers them a national security threat. But being unstoppable online doesn't mean you're invisible forever. Default makes the mistake that ends everything. At a friend's place, he's drinking. The news mentions the CIA hack. He brags, thinking it wouldn't matter because his friend wouldn't believe him. He was wrong. His friend was jealous over a girl they both knew. And he reports Default. One morning, his computer is partially decrypted when armed federal agents break into his room. They pin him to the ground, seize every device, and take something that breaks him inside. A hard drive containing almost 1,000 Bitcoin, worth tens of millions today. He blacks out. Cracker gets raided too. His computers are taken. Other CWA members get arrested in the US and UK. Because Cracker is a minor, he gets 2 years in a juvenile detention center, the first UK minor ever jailed for hacking. He now avoids the spotlight and tries to rebuild his life. Default doesn't get that luxury. He receives a 5-year federal sentence, solitary confinement, over $100,000 in restitution. His youth is consumed by concrete walls, locked doors, and regret. Looking back, he says, "I thought I was doing the right thing. Years later, I realized I wasn't." Snowden still lives in exile, and in 2023, a U.S. court revealed that American agencies misused surveillance databases over 278,000 times. The very abuses that fueled these teenagers still exist today. Whether someone is a whistleblower, an activist, or just a reckless teen angry at the world, going after the U.S. intelligence community will change everything in your life. What you gain is temporary. What you lose stays with you forever.